Hi there, I'm Dr. Sabrina Starling. I'm the business psychologist as well as the author of The 4-Week Vacation and the How to Hire the Best series. On today's show, we'll be talking about why your business needs you to take a 4-week vacation, plus how you can drop 80% of your clients and be more profitable. And the best part, I will also share with you how you can hire those people that you think you can't afford. You'll be surprised.
Welcome back to part 2 of our delicious conversation with Dr. Sabrina Starling. She is on a mission to disrupt the traditional story of entrepreneurship, basically working yourself to death. And she is a best-selling author of multiple books. Her latest international bestseller is The 4-Week Vacation. Yes, 4 weeks. Can you imagine? It's the entrepreneur's ultimate guide to taking your life back from your business. And it is pretty outstanding. We've been talking about in part 1 about why it's so necessary, and not just for the obvious reasons in that you're fried, but the strategic advantages of taking more time off. Now, we were talking about generally taking more time off and the ways that it'll impact you and your creativity and your mental space and your burnout. But now we want to look in part 2. We want to really look at the specifics. How do you do that? How do you actually take 4 weeks off? I mean, I know you're listening to me and you can barely turn the bloody phone off when you go to sleep, let alone leave it in the other room. And that's to go to sleep. How do you take 4 weeks off? Because I know that many of you go on holiday and you take your laptop and you take your phone and I'm always on call. You can reach me, on your 3-week holiday that only lasts 5 days because they couldn't live without you, right? Oh my God. Sabrina was speaking about codependent relationships with your business. If you don't know what codependent relationship is, go look it up. We talked a lot about it in the late 90s, early 2000s. And guess what? You're having an affair with your life partner and you're in a primary relationship with your business. That's scary shit. So let's talk about the specifics of how to set your life up to have a 4-week vacation and make your business grow.
Okay, so I want to take this, Dav, from 2 angles. So there's the most basic angle that we've already touched on, and that is to start putting boundaries in place in your business. Mm-hmm. So, but that only gets you so far because you can't take a 4-week vacation if you just say, all right, you guys, you're just going to have to figure this out on your own. I'm out of here. That's not going to work. So there are steps to getting there. And so it starts with putting those boundaries in place. But one of the simple things to do is to look at what is the longest time you've been able to be away from your business, fully unplugged. If that's 2 days, then stretch yourself and say, okay, the next time I'm going to go away and I'm going to fully unplug for 4 days. And then ask yourself, what wouldn't happen if I was fully unplugged for 4 days? What would fall through the cracks? Whatever that is, you likely need a system and a team member around it.
Okay. What would fall through the cracks if I took that time off? So let me just put a pause in there because I want to come back onto you with that, which is what would fall through the cracks? How much of that, my question is, how much of that is real? Meaning, you're saying, I think this would fall through the cracks, but maybe it wouldn't. So that in and of itself is a sidebar question. Is like, are you sure?
Well, and that's the value of doing what we call vacation tests. So every time you go away from your business, you go away a little bit longer. So you're able to test your perceptions against reality, for one.
Good.
And also catch what really falls through the cracks. And so whatever is falling through the cracks that's legit, not just your perception, you need a system or you need team members or both around that. And so go to work on that. get that in place, and then schedule your next vacation that's going to be a little bit longer. So if, a week is the longest you've been able to be away, fully unplugged, schedule 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's been 2 weeks, schedule, guess what? 4 weeks. You can do it. And what's amazing to me, as we've been studying the state of entrepreneurship, and we surveyed over 200 entrepreneurs during the height of COVID, the average length in business of these entrepreneurs was 5 years. The number of days that they said they were able to be away fully unplugged, the most frequent response to that question was 0. So if you think about just being in business 5 years and not being able to fully unplug for 0 days, like, what does that do to us over time? And so every one of us has that opportunity to start with a vacation test. Take a day. If 0 days is it, take a day, fully unplug. Yeah. What happens? Beyond that, though, there's a deeper level of working on your business. And that's the Tap the Potential solution, which I take people through step by step in the 4-week vacation book. And it is how to design your business to be sustainably profitable so that it gives you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account. So there's 5 steps in the Tap the Potential solution.
Tap the Potential?
Tap the Potential solution. The way I developed the Tap the Potential solution is working with business owners for the last 17 years. And as I worked with them, I've always looked at what are the best practices out there for running a small business. So there's the E-Myth. There's the books like Profit First, Pump and Plan, my books, How to Hire the Best. They're all great. Mm-hmm. But when you try to take Attraction is another one of them. When you try to take these books and pull them together to make something work in your business, they don't tack on to each other very well. It kind of creates a hodgepodge. And so what I've been studying over these 16 years is what order do you need to do things in a small business so that you can take your life back and really have that business that can run without you and be profitable. So step 1 is you intentionally design your business to be profitable. So that's putting the Profit First system in place in your business so that as money comes in, you set aside a certain amount that's going to profit with every deposit that comes into the business. And so at that point, what you're doing psychologically is you are taking the cash flow pressures off of the business owner. So one of the worst things that happens in our businesses is we lay awake at night worrying about cash flow. We lose sleep worrying about cash flow. And psychologically, it's because basic needs are not being met. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we have to have food, water, shelter before we can think about relationships and tapping our potential and really being at those higher levels of the hierarchy. Well, when we're worried about cash flow in our business, we are very far down that hierarchy of needs and we're in survival mode. We're not doing anything to develop team because we're barely surviving. And that's why it becomes hard to hire good people. And it just keeps that business in that perpetual survival mode. So the very first thing to do is to put the Profit First system in place so your cash flow worries go away. You as the entrepreneur start sleeping better at night because you know you're going to be able to pay yourself as the owner and there's profit building up in the business. It's not a paycheck to paycheck business anymore. And then you move to looking at what is the sweet spot of this business. So when we're in startup phase, one of the things we do is we say yes to everything because we need money. We're trying to get the cash coming in the business. But remember, now you've put Profit First in place. You're past the startup phase. There's money coming into this business. But because you've said yes to all kinds of opportunities, you now have an overweight business. Overweight business is one where you're serving all kinds of different clients and customers who have all kinds of different needs. And that drains a lot of energy out of the business and a lot of profit. And inevitably, what we'll try to do is we'll get really busy and we'll look around and we'll say, I need to hire. And so we're going to go hire someone. And then we think about, well, what do we want them to do? Well, I have these pain in the rear customers. I'd really like to get rid of them. So I'm going to assign my new team member to go deal with them. So what you're really doing is you're taking your worst clients and customers and you're paying now, you've got somebody on payroll to take care of them. And payroll is the biggest expense in a business. So we always want to keep our payroll as lean as possible. We want to have A players. We want to pay them well, but we want to have as few people as possible on the payroll. So that means we need to slim down this business and identify the sweet spot. Who are those top clients and customers, the 20% that are responsible for 80% of the revenue? But it doesn't just stop there. We want to look at and who are a joy to serve. Okay, so because you can have a client or customer that brings in a lot of revenue and they can be a pain in the rear to take care of. They can be highly demanding and they always need extra work done or whatever. So it's not just about revenue, but it's about those clients and customers that are responsible for a significant amount of revenue and are a joy to serve. When they're a joy to serve, a couple of things are going on. Their immutable laws, core values align with yours and the rest of your teams. And that's why there's all this feeling of harmony.
Very important.
I love these people. They're great. That's what's going on. But the other thing is when they're a joy to serve, it's because they're being served out of the strengths of the business.
Yes.
So when we get to work from our strengths, we enjoy what we are doing. When they're not a joy to serve, when we want to, see their number on caller ID and we cringe, that often is they're difficult to deal with and or they may be outside our sweet spot. It's not our area of strength. And it takes a lot of effort for us and our team to deliver on whatever we've told them we were going to deliver on. So those who bring in a significant amount of revenue and who are a joy to serve, that's how we start identifying the sweet spot. And then we want to put systems and team in place around that sweet spot. So you only hire for team members to serve the sweet spot of the business, nothing else. And that will help you keep your payroll very lean.
I just want to pause on that because I think that's a really important piece, because I think that it's pretty natural to say, I don't want to deal with the C clients anymore, so I'm going to hire somebody to take care of them. But that's still a lack mentality. That's still that's still coming at things from a place of, it's a way to make money. And I think that that's the fear, right? Is that, okay, I got to hire. I understand that. And I got to look after my sweet spot. I understand that. And I understand the 20% who provide the 80%. But I'm afraid that if I don't take care of these pain in the ass, low value people, they pay the rent.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm hiring now for those people. And what you've just put forward is quite, it's quite a challenge for a lot of people to go, hold on a second. I'm hiring for the best, the people who serve. I like serving them. I don't need anybody to serve them. I like serving them. Can I just offload the shitty clients on them?
So
because they pay my rent.
They don't pay your rent. That's a lie we tell ourselves, number
one. Thank you.
They're taking money out of your pocket. They're stealing from you. But the best way that I've found around this is to utilize the 80-20 principle and the math around it. So if 20% of our clients are responsible for 80% of our revenue, it means that we have 80% of our clients that are responsible for 20% of the revenue. Okay, 80% who are responsible for 20% of the revenue. That's a heck of a lot of work involved in serving those 80%. So if we use a little math and we recognize that if we put ourselves at choice to let go of 80% of our clients and we're going to lose 20% of our revenue from them, we're just going to say it's going to go away. 20% of our revenue is going away when we let go of these 80%. How do we replace that revenue? Well, you could do it by looking at how to add value for your top 20% of clients that are responsible for 80% of the revenue, and do so in such a way that they would happily pay you 25% more. So for just simple math, let's take $1 million business.
Yep.
You have 80% of your clients responsible for 200,000 of your revenue, 20% of your clients responsible for 800,000 of your revenue. You drop the bottom 80% of your clients that are responsible for that 200,000 in revenue. And you say, okay, I want to increase revenue from my top 20% by 25% over the year. You will replace 200,000 in revenue, and you will still have $1 million business, still $1 million in revenue, and you will have 80% fewer clients.
Yeah, you'll have the right client. The right clients, you'll have the workload will have gone down, not up, because that's part of the thing is like people go, I can't make more profit because I can't work any harder. That's a very common entrepreneurial response. I can't work any harder. And, and we all know the adage work smarter, not harder, but it's like, well, I don't know how to because I'm exhausted. But what you've just laid out there is a very simple plan for doing that, which is, who is the 20%? Who is the 80%? How much time and energy are we spending on this 80% of people who bring in 20% of the income? If we offload them, and you can do that in a very respectful manner, you can actually do that. And people think, oh, I just got to fire all my clients. No, you do it respectfully. There's a way to do it. One of the things that I did with one of my businesses is I introduced them to somebody else who was in my industry, who was officially a competitor. I never saw them as that, and said, look, this is somebody who's doing a really great job of this. It's not our specialty. And I can serve you, but I don't feel like I could serve you anywhere near as well as this person can. And if you wanted to, didn't, but if you wanted to, you could say to that person, I want a commission on everybody I send to you. And they more than happily give that to you because it's cheaper than bloody advertising on Facebook ads. Or you could just say, I'm done, which is what I did. Right. But it makes all the difference in the world, as you said, to freeing up that mental, emotional weight that we talked about in part one, that steals from your creativity, that steals from your availability to your family, to your loved ones, and more importantly, not more importantly than your family and your loved ones, but more importantly in the business, it steals from your availability to be creative, to actually come up with new ideas to grow the business.
Yes. And that leads me to step 3 of the Tap the Potential solution. So we have design your business to be sustainably profitable, niche down with a clearly defined sweet spot. And now we're at step 3, which is innovate. Before we go to step 3, I do want to make a comment for anyone who's just freaking out about dropping 80% of their clients. You're at choice here. You don't have to drop 80%, drop 30%, and just free up a little time and start to see what happens. Okay.
Right.
So, but whatever amount you're freeing up, it creates that mental space to do step 3, which is to innovate, to serve your top clients better and better.
Mm-hmm.
Just allow yourself that opportunity to think about who your favorite clients are. And if you had 10 hours more a week to love on them, what would you be doing for them? Holy cow. I mean, the ideas just start flowing, right? And so that's that opportunity to innovate. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we think we have to come up with these big bolt from the blue ideas and massive change and something that just totally disrupts. That's not it. It's the micro innovations. It's the little things. So think about what it is that your top clients need next from you. You've gotten them to this at point X. If you're going to take them to point Z, what do they need to get to point Z? And how will you deliver that? Do it. Go out there and do it. And that creates that opportunity. It solves some huge challenges that are out there right now for business owners. one, feeling like inflation is here and oh my gosh, how am I going to keep up? I'm already struggling to keep myself afloat. Well, you have to be able to charge appropriately to stay in business and grow your business. So when we're talking about step one of the Tap the Potential solution, design your business to be sustainably profitable, we're talking about designing your business to grow. In order to grow, you need to be able to invest in yourself to grow as a leader, because that's the number one skill, is emotional intelligence and learning how to lead people as you add more team to your business. And you need to be able to invest to hire A players. A lot of business owners say, I can't afford to hire A players. They're too expensive. If you are serving your top clients and you're innovating and you're thinking about, this is our niche, this is where we specialize, and we're the specialist, people will pay for the specialist. That's because you're delivering something of value. And then when you're innovating, you also are creating opportunities to be compensated for your value. So you're setting your business up to be sustainably profitable because you will be able to invest further in yourself and your development. You will be able to invest in hiring A players, and you'll be able to invest in developing those A players. So that innovation piece is key, and it's micro innovations to serve your top clients. It's not big, huge, massive innovations that are very costly. And that brings us to step 4 of the Tap the Potential solution, which is to grow your lean and mighty team. And I've already hinted at lean and mighty. When you are hiring A players, yes, you will be paying more. You need to pay them and compensate them well. An A player who is in a role with a clearly defined result, working from their strength, will be 900 to 1200% more productive than a warm body. This is huge, because if you slim down your business, you don't need to hire as many people. And then when you hire those A players, they can take exceptional care of your top clients and customers, and you don't need a lot of them, but you'll be able to compensate them well.
That is awesome. Now, thinking about all that, what naturally comes to mind for me is, how long have you been an entrepreneur?
I would say I was born an entrepreneur.
But actively in business
actively on my own, 15 years.
Right. So 15 years as an entrepreneur. I have to guess you started out by doing the same stupid shit we've been talking about.
Right.
And at the same time, feeling like probably like most others, there is no solution. And on top of that, you and I were discussing earlier that you spent a long time as a single mom, in that period of time. So you're a single mom, you've got demands of family, you're trying to take care of everything, and you're an entrepreneur. How the hell are you going to hire people? All these problems that we've spoken about, you've walked through. This is why I appreciate and respect what you're bringing forward. How did you get to that place of going, I got to stop buying my own bull?
Yeah. It has been a long journey, and it started with very early in business when my daughter was a newborn, and I was reading Michael Gerber's E-Myth book, literally by the moonlight while I rocked her to sleep. And I think she must have been 4 months old. And I remember reading that book and having this epiphany of, oh my gosh, I'm doing this all wrong. I'm going to screw up this business because it already depends on me. Because, the E-Myth is all about putting systems in place in your business.
Yep.
And it was from that point forward that I really was determined to figure out, like, how do I build a business, a coaching business that doesn't depend on me? I could see how somebody could have an auto repair business that didn't depend on them, because it's, when you repair a vehicle, there are certain things you do in a certain order. That's easy to systematize. But coaching, I dance in the moment with my clients. How do you do that? And it was a couple of years later, I was at a conference and I actually got to meet Michael Gerber. And I remember standing in line. I had my E-Myth book. He was going to sign my book. And we all got to ask him one question. And while I was standing there in line, I was like, what is my one question? I only get to ask this man one question. What am I going to ask him? And I came up with my question. And that was, you have a coaching business and you've scaled it. How have you done it, Michael? And he looked at me and he said, my dear, I own a coaching business and I have never coached a day in my life. And I was like, what kind of answer is that? That sucks. You didn't tell me anything. But that just, it irritated me. And at the same time, it stuck in my head and I came away from that and I kept thinking about it. I was like, he's never coached a day in his life and he owns a coaching business. How has he done this? And it really put me on that quest and to figure out how to get myself out of the business. But what happened for me is I realized that I didn't have to just change the way I think about the business. I had to change my very being, like my entire
Right.
And, we've talked earlier about our identities. Like my identity was so intertwined with my therapy clients prior to having my coaching business, and then my coaching business and all my clients and what I was doing for them, and that they loved having their conversations with me. And I just had to go, okay, what is it that I am delivering to them? What is the result they're really, and the experience that they're really getting from me? And how do I deliver that experience when it's not me? How do I set this business up to deliver this experience when it's not me? So I don't want to make it sound like it was clean and easy, because it took me a good 8 or 9 years after that before I was able to step away from my business. And it didn't happen because I thought, I want to take a 4-week vacation. So I'm going to do all these nice vacation tests and I'm going to follow this really clean and pretty tap the potential solution, because that didn't exist back then. Mm-hmm. It was because I got pregnant with my second daughter. And I remembered my first daughter and my business being a baby while she was a baby. And I thought, I want to enjoy, this is going to be my last child. I want to enjoy having that newborn baby and just being able to be fully present and hold her and love on her and all that. And so it was about 4 months until she was due. I was on my yoga mat doing my sun salutations. And I was thinking, what do I really want? What do I want this experience to be like as I have her? And it came to me that what I really wanted was I wanted to have a maternity leave. And a really long maternity leave. And so I thought, what do I need to do to have a 6-week maternity leave? And I had 4 months to figure it out. I made it happen. And I ended up taking a 9-week maternity leave. The business continued to grow without me. Sales were made and things functioned without me. And the thing that I look back on and I cannot believe, talk about blind spots, Dov. Huge blind spot. I remember being on the phone with my own coach. I was probably 7 weeks into my maternity leave, my 9-week maternity leave, and I was bawling. And I was telling my coach, I just love being home with this baby. I don't want to go back to work. I don't want to give this up. And I'm so sad to think about it. And she gave me a pep talk and she said, it'll change. And if you just go back into it, you'll feel better about it after a couple months, kind of that rah coach pep talk. Neither one of us saw, my gosh, you've got your business running without you. You've taken 6 weeks off and revenue is still coming in. Why don't you just go back and build on that? We didn't see that.
No.
And I went back into the business and I went back into my old role. I let go of the coach that I brought on because I don't need you anymore. I've got it now. I'm fine, And so I went back into delivering all of the services. And so that was a blind spot. And it comes from doing things the way they've always been done. We just are a matter of our routines and our habits. And so when Mike Michalowicz wrote the book Clockwork, and he started talking about the 4-week vacation in that book, that's where I thought, man, I want to do this. I want to be able to have my business where I can take a 4-week vacation every year. Yeah. And so I made that challenge for myself, but I'm not someone, I believe in accountability and I believe in public accountability. So I committed to doing it. And I challenged all of our clients at the Breakthroughs Retreat at Tap the Potential that year to also take a 4-week vacation. And when I did that, I was scared out of my mind because I had no idea how they were going to respond. Like, they could have told me, "You're crazy. I'm not doing this." The majority of the people at that retreat pledged to take a 4-week vacation. And that's where the 4-week vacation book was officially born. I had been wanting to write it for years, but I didn't have the know-how. Like, I hadn't recognized that I'd done it, and I hadn't really pulled it all together. And I thought, before I can write this book, not only do I need to have taken a 4-week vacation, but I need to have taken our clients through getting them to a 4-week vacation. And so when we issued that 4-week vacation challenge, there were all kinds of reactions in the room, and all the things that you brought up in part 1 came to the surface. Who am I if I'm not in my business? And I like what I do. I don't want to quit working. And what will my clients think? What will my team think if I tell them I'm going to be away for 4 weeks? All the objections, along with all the excitement and like the commitment. And I remember, I'll never forget, Chuck Parmalee, one of my long-standing clients, said, "I'm taking a 4-week vacation, and I'm doing it because in 40 years of being in business, I have never taken off more than 4 to 5 days at a time. That's my why for doing this." And that really became my why for why it's so important for business owners to be able to take that 4-week vacation. Because if you are dedicating your life to running a business, your business needs to be taking care of you at some point in your life.
What a fabulous, powerful way to finish. Thank you so much. There's nothing really I can say to that. You nailed it right there at the end. That's what we all need to really examine, all of us. And I just thank you for that, Sabrina. It was a pleasure and an honor having you with us. Again, I'm going to ask you to tell our audience, our viewers, our listeners, where they can find out more about you, about your international bestseller, and how they can reach out to you.
Certainly. So you can reach me and learn about our Better Business, Better Life program, which is all designed to help you have a business that gives you your life back, at tapthepotential.com. If you want to learn about specifically the 4-week vacation book, go to 4weekvacation.com.
Fabulous. Thank you. And again, of course, we will make sure that those links and the social media links are posted in the show notes. It was a pleasure and honor having you with us, Sabrina. Always insightful. I do sincerely appreciate it. And for you, dear listener, remember, you can hang out with other conscious leaders. You can chat about the episode you've been listening to or any other previous episodes inside of our Facebook and LinkedIn groups. Just look for the Leadership and Loyalty podcast. Truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter how successful you are. If your employees and your customers don't understand what gives your company meaning, you're only working at a fraction of your true capability. To find out how you can hire me, Dov Baron, as a speaker or leadership strategist for yourself or your organization, simply go to dovbaron.com. That's DOVBARON.com, because unified actualized meaning is the one single monolithic difference between greatness and mediocrity for all individuals and companies. So I want to thank you for sharing the show with everybody you know. Till next time, stay curious, my friend. Stay curious about the lies you tell yourself in order to not take a vacation, about how you have made it so that your company won't survive without you, how you are in a codependent relationship with your business, and the quality of your life and the quality of your business can grow if you understand how to tap into the ability to take a 4-week vacation. I know it sounds crazy, but it's entirely possible, as you've heard in today's show. Get the 4-week vacation book. I think you're going to be really surprised, and I'm going to be challenging you to take that vacation and tell us what it was like. I'm Dov Baron. I'm here to assist you tapping into your deepest meaning to reach that next level of clarity, focus, purpose, and profit in your business, your life, and your leadership impact. And I am out.